I want us to lean into our creator layer today as modern women, the layer in which we were born to make something out of nothing. I remember my 26th birthday like it was yesterday. My girls had planned this paint and sip experience for me. I remember sitting down in my chair. I had my paintbrush, my apron, my paint, my easel, ready to paint, ready to become young Picasso. And in that moment, I remember this wave of insecurity coming all over me that said to me, Brittany, you know what? You are not an artist. You are not an artist. When all is said and done and everybody finishes their painting, you won't really have anything beautiful that's been created. I remember in that moment that I looked like an artist. I had all the tools to be an artist, but I didn't feel or believe that I was actually one. And I know for a fact that as modern women, that many of us, most of us, I believe all of us, are really called to create something. But because we don't believe it, because we may have the tools, we might have purchased the microphone for create the podcast, we might have the journals to write the words for the book, but there's something in us that says, I am not a creator. I'm not meant to be an artist. No one had ever told me that I was a creator. And so what I really think it was for me is that no one ever told me that I wasn't a creator, but no one also had told me that I was. So here's what it is. Creativity is not reserved. It's not some superpower that's reserved for certain people, right? Creativity can be anything from styling a new piece in your wardrobe or cooking a new meal that you never had before. Whatever the creating looks like for you, we have to be willing to do the work, to do what it takes to move around this feeling of inadequacy, because it's not necessarily going to go anywhere. That day when I sat there in front of the canvas, I had to be willing to sit with that thing. I had to be willing to sit with that painting, to do the work, to listen to the instructor, to mix the colors, to do the work of what it actually meant to sit in the thing, regardless of how uncomfortable it was for me to create. The next thing I had to do, I had to be willing to surrender. So after I've sat there, I had to be willing to allow whatever paint hit that canvas and whatever strokes I gave that paintbrush, I had to be willing to surrender to what the outcome would be. I had to be willing to have an open heart and an open mind that would allow creativity to flow through me and onto that canvas. That's all I had to do, okay? And then lastly, what I had to do is that after I sat with that thing, after I surrendered to the creativity flowing through me, I had to also then be willing to share. What happened at the end of the paint and sip experience, after everyone finished their painting, they turned their paintings around and we took a picture with it, right? And so I had to be willing to share that moment, that after I sat with it, after I surrendered to the process, I had to be willing to share the creativity that was able to flow through me, and to not judge it and to not have any strings attached to it, but to simply stand in that as a creator. And so I want to leave you with this. Maybe you're just like me. Maybe no one necessarily told you that you weren't a creator, but perhaps nobody affirmed that you actually were. And so I'm telling you today, you are a creator. You're not born to just make anything, but you're made to make beautiful, brave, brilliant, and breathtaking things. Go forth and create. Go forth and create the thing. Sit, surrender, and then let it go to share. You may be surprised by what happens.